Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here. So alongside the new Battle Pass trailer for Apex Legends Emergence, the patch notes were also dropped for the season that is launching tomorrow. So we're going to cover those patch notes real quick in today's video. First and foremost, if you want to go and read the entirety of the patch notes for yourself, there'll be a link in the description down below. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this. So obviously the new legend this season is Seer. So his passive is called Heartseeker. Visualize and hear the heartbeats of nearby enemies when aiming down sights to get a clue to their location. Seer is able to ADS even while not holding a weapon. Tactical focus of attention. Summon micro drones to emit a focus delayed blast that goes through walls, revealing enemies and their health bars, plus interrupting their actions. His ultimate exhibit, create a sphere of micro drones that reveals the footsteps of enemies moving quickly or firing their weapons within. And as a passive, he has the recon passive, scanning survey beacon reveals the next circle's location. So I made a video talking about Seer when they released the trailer for him. So if you want to go watch that, there's a card in the top right hand corner. Next, map update. So I made a video talking about all the changes that are coming to World's Edge. So after a few months of aggressive mining by the Harvester on World's Edge, the land is overmined, overburdened, and pushed to its limits. The earth has fractured and erupted as nature is reclaiming what's hers. Hammond is scrambling to contain the damage they've caused using weather-controlling machines. The climatizer rapidly cools the surrounding area to sub-zero temperatures, and a lava siphon stabilizes the caldera. Fight for control of the always-moving gondolas and climatizer and lava siphon. Traverse the bubbling hot lava with caution, and show everyone what legends are made of. So again, you can go and watch the full video on this in the top right-hand corner. There'll be a card. Next, the Rampage LMG. So Rampart's latest creation, the Rampage LMG, blasts onto the scene and has absolutely no chill. This high-powered, heavy ammo LMG takes its time, but packs one hell of a punch. The Rampage excels at mid-range combat, but struggles up close with a slower fire rate. Not one for just accepting weakness. Rampart managed to modify the Rampage's internal combustion mechanism with what else? Thermite. Loading a thermite grenade into the Rampage's special chamber overclocks the fire rate and lets legends go on well. A Rampage. So I'm really excited to try this new weapon. It makes me feel kind of like an AK-47 because it's like it looks really big and chunky and it fires slow but packs a punch. So that's what it makes me think of, but looking forward to trying it out. Moving on to ranked arenas. So I also made a video talking about ranked in season 10. Card in the top right hand corner. With the launch of the Emergence update, we're introducing ranked arenas. You begin your journey through ranked arenas in 10 placement matches where your performance will determine your initial matchmaking, rank, MMR, and your starting rank. MMR variance is wider initially, so your first 10 matches might be stomp or get stomped until your MMR defines your placement. So two things to note, there is no cost to entry for arena ranked matches, and there's no arena points for kills. There's also not going to be a split for ranked arenas. So moving right along to quality of life updates. So added a new badge, win streak. Can you get 2, 3, 4, or 5 wins in a row? So this is probably going to be a pretty sought after badge. They also added a hold on response to enemy pings. So that is a nice just quality of life update for people who don't really use voice chat. Added distinct sound effects to the gold backpacks revive. Video effects were added in the Chaos Theory update. This gives additional feedback when players are close to but not in line of sight of revives. Updated the heirloom store to give players a better view of all the items related to that item. They also updated the open pack button to show how many packs of each type are available to open. Highlighting the button shows a complete breakdown. Now it's time for the legend meta. So Fuse. Enemies caught inside the ring of fire from Fuse's Motherlode ultimate are now revealed to Fuse's team. Knuckle Cluster Tactical Explosion duration increased by 100%, and his Grenadier passive can be toggled on and off to throw ordnance normally. Dev note, Fuse continues to struggle. We identified 2 opportunities to help him that weren't just give him more damage. We believe Apex is a gun game first and foremost, and therefore want to make sure we don't put too much damage into character abilities. The first opportunity we identified was as tactical. While meant as a persistent area denial tool, it currently does not last long enough to seriously inconvenience an enemy. We doubled the duration so you can now place 1 at a door and be reasonably sure no one's coming through that door for a little while. While we doubled the duration, the damage per second remains the same. Please don't stand in the fire. Secondly, his ultimate often didn't give his team an advantage. Sure, You may catch enemies with it, but the flames made it impossible for you to step inside, and you couldn't see the enemies you trapped either because the flames were in the way. We explored a few ways to deal with this, but ended up going for the most straightforward answer. You get enemy outlines as long as they stay inside the ring of fire. Horizon reduced the slow after the initial black hole pull, and bumped Horizon gravity lift up speed to a happy medium between 9.1 and Legacy update launch values. Dev note, there's no doubt the nerfs Horizon received with Legacy were necessary, but given the benefit of time and hindsight, we decided we probably hit the speed of her tactical too hard. Instead of completely reverting that part of the nerf, we found a happy medium between how fast her gravity lift operated at release and how slow it was after the nerf. This one's hard to communicate with numbers, so just give her a try and tell us what you think. Revenant, there's now a visual and audio cue when Death Totem protection is about to end, which can be seen/heard by other players. They also added a brief slow after being recalled to the Death Totem. Caustic, gas damage starts at 5, increases by 1 every other tick indefinitely. Cooldown on tactical has been reduced from 25 seconds to 20 seconds, and the ultimate cooldown has been reduced from 3.5 minutes to 3 minutes. Duration reduced from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. So dev note, Caustic is a dangerous character to buff. Push him a little too far and he quickly takes over the meta. Constantly fighting through gas is no fun, so we definitely want to avoid him becoming dominant once more. That said, we're now convinced the nerf that dropped his gas damage to a flat 5 damage went too far. When you can sit in gas and take a syringe or two and be fine, gas is not a scary enough deterrent, so we switched back to a scaling model. This time we decided to let the damage scale a little more slowly. Instead of going up by 1 every tick, we're increasing it by 1 every other tick. Damage is uncapped at the top here, but really that's very theoretical. Enemies will generally be dead around the time the gas reaches 11 damage per tick, unless you've been healing. The desired effect here is to make enemies feel a great urgency to leave the gas as soon as possible. At the same time, we wanted to be mindful specifically of Caustic's impact in late game circles at the highest level. Even with Ring 6 now slowly closing over 100 seconds, we were worried about the effect that a single Caustic ult could have in the late game. We reduced its duration by 5 seconds. The ult represents Caustic's highest moment of power. His enemies have no way of countering it. 15 seconds is still a meaningful amount of time, and with the damage changes, 15 seconds is long enough to kill someone. But it should hopefully make fighting a Caustic in the endgame slightly less frustrating. Weapon meta. Supply drop rotation. So this season the Prowler returns to floor loot, and taking its place is the M600 Spitfire. In addition to the Spitfire this season, another weapon will be joining the supply drop, the Alternator SMG. See how each weapon changes down below. So hop-ups, boosted loader, reloading near empty but not at 0, increases reload speed and overloads the next magazine with extra rounds. This hop-up will be equipable to the Hemlock Burst AR and the Wingman. To make room, the Anvil Receiver and Quick Draw holster are now being vaulted. Fully kitted rotation, so they added the Peacekeeper, Rampage, RE45, Flatline, and Charge Rifle being able to spawn as gold ground loot, and they removed the gold Wingman, Bocek, R99, Hemlock, and Sentinel. Magazine attachments. Reload speed increase associated with magazines has been moved to the equivalent stock rarity tier. Dev note, magazines are the most potent source of lootable power for most weapons, and that largely comes in the form of ammo capacity. In addition to capacity, they were also offering increased reload speed. We've moved the reload speed buff to stocks to help increase the value of stocks and spread out our meaningful modifiers across our attachments. Stock attachments. All stocks now offer increased reload speed instead of magazines. Marksman weapons, so the 30-30, G7, and Triple Take now take sniper stocks instead of tactical stocks, and sniper stocks on marksman weapons will offer increased stability and sway reduction with slightly reduced handling bonuses from tactical stocks. The L-Star now takes energy magazines. Mags on the L-Star work differently than other weapons because of its unique interaction with ammo. Instead, they will allow the L-Star to fire more shots before it overheats and allow it to cool off its heat buildup slightly faster. It also now takes barrels for recoil reduction. Projectile video effects scale reduced by roughly half, so probably won't be as blinding as it once was. First person on hit impact effect intensity reduced, and the hipfire spread is increased. Dev note, the L-Star has undergone a few changes in Emergence. We've attempted to improve the looting experience and extend the L-Star's power into the later phases of the game. In addition to the attachments that it can now take, the L-Star is also seeing some VFX changes for combat readability. Light machine guns reduced the headshot multiplier for all LMGs from 2 to 1.75 and increased the limb shot multiplier for all LMGs from 0.75 to 0.85. So the dev note, LMG spray and pray was feeling a little too oppressive when random headshots chunked with a 2.0 damage modifier. We're shaving off some of that headshot firepower but adding a little back in by bringing up their limb damage. Unloading massive LMG mags to suppress your enemies should still be a valid tactic. We're just ringing in the peaks and valleys to make it feel a bit more consistent. Pistols, reduced handling time for all pistols by around 10%, raise holster zoom in and zoom out time. Dev note, with the removal of the quick draw holster and reload speed moving from mags to stocks, pistols took a bit of a hit. We're increasing their base handling, but we'll keep an eye on their performance as we get into Emergence. The Prowler, so it's now only burst, there is no way to put it full auto, and the time between burst increased from 0.2 to 0.24. The Prowler returns to the floor without its trusty sidekick, the select fire hop-up, but don't sleep on it, it's still a beast. The M600 Spitfire, so damage increased from 18 to 19, hipfire spread back to Season 8 pre-nerf values, and purple mag size increased from 50 to 55. So the M600 Spitfire is basically going back to its pre-nerfed state, but going into the care package. The Alternator, reintroducing the Disruptor rounds which come equipped on a supply drop alternator. Disruptor rounds increases shield damage by 40%. Disruptor rounds can only be found on alternators from the supply drop. So if you weren't there for Season 2 when the Disruptor rounds were first introduced, prepare yourself and bring extra shield batteries. The 30-30 repeater reload speed from stocks is increased. The EVA 8 significantly reduced bolt fire rate scaling for each rarity tier. Base fire rate remains unchanged. So dev note for this one, the EVA 8's speed makes it a forgiving and formidable shotgun to run. It's pulled ahead of the pack and has been seen as the clear choice for many, leaving the Peacekeeper, Mastiff, and Mozambique in the dust. This change should help even the playing field between the shotguns. Arena's weapon update, so care package changes apply to arenas. So the Prowler and Rampage replace the Alternator and Spitfire in the arena shop, and there's also quite a few changes to the costs of weapons and gear in the arenas. Again, you can go and look at those for yourselves. There's also a laundry list of bug fixes pertaining to characters. I'm not going to cover those because you will literally fall asleep. Again, link in the description down below if you want to go and read the entirety of the patch notes for yourselves. So let me know what you're thinking of Apex Legends Emergence. What are you most excited for? What are you not looking forward to? Leave all that in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.